In 1974, James Bond met his match in a man just as deadly and cunning as he was, a hitman with a solid gold pistol and a taste for danger. This is the man with the golden gun. Roger Moore is back as 007 in his second outing as Bond, sent on a mission to track down the elusive and deadly Francisco Scaramanga. A world-class assassin with a unique signature weapon, a golden gun. Played by the charismatic Christopher Lee, Scaramanga is one of the most memorable villains in Bond history. And this film brings us not only espionage, danger, and exotic locations but also a duel that Bond fans wouldn't soon forget. Roger Moore continues to shape his version of Bond here, bringing a mix of charm and toughness to the role. Moore's Bond is playful yet ruthless when it counts, and this film lets us see his lighter and darker sides in action. Opposite him is Christopher Lee as Francisco Scaramanga. With his elegant, sinister charm and impeccable style, Lee makes Scaramanga one of the more unforgettable Bond villains. Let's talk about that iconic golden gun. Built from everyday items, a pen, a lighter, and a cufflink, Scaramanga's weapon is as sophisticated as he is. And it packs a punch. A single shot can kill instantly, which is all Scaramanga needs. The golden gun became one of the most iconic weapons in the Bond series and a lasting symbol of the film. One of the film's highlights is the climactic showdown between Bond and Scaramanga, set in Scaramanga's personal funhouse. It's a psychological game as much as it is a gunfight. Bond and Scaramanga face off in a twisted maze of mirrors, tricks, and illusions, where each tries to outwit the other. It's the ultimate duel between spy and assassin. This duel is suspenseful and surreal, showing how both men are two sides of the same coin but only one can survive. Bond is joined by Mary Goodnight, a MI6 agent played by Britt Eklund, and Andrea Anders, Scaramanga's girlfriend, played by Maud Adams. While they play important roles in Bond's mission, Goodnight's clumsy personality was a bit controversial, especially compared to the competent female allies Bond has had. Andrea, on the other hand, brings depth as she's trapped in a relationship with Scaramanga. The film received mixed reviews. While Scaramanga's character and the action scenes are highlights, some found the plot a bit thin and the tone somewhat inconsistent. The movie veers between suspense and camp, which could be jarring for some fans. However, the film has grown a cult following, with fans loving its unique, almost surreal style. Whether you love or hate the style, the man with the golden gun captures an era of Bond that wasn't afraid to experiment. James Bond is targeted by the world's most expensive assassin, while he attempts to recover sensitive solar cell technology that is being sold to the highest bidder. Scaramanga is a hitman who charges $1 million per job. He becomes linked to the death of a scientist working on a powerful solar cell, and James Bond is called in to investigate. As he tracks down Scaramanga, he realizes that he is highly respected by the killer. But will this prove to be an advantage in the final showdown? An American gangster, Rodney Mark Lawrence, visits famed crackshot hitman Francisco Scaramanga. Christopher Lee has a superfluous papilla or supernumerary nipple in order to try to kill him to collect a bounty. But he is directed into a funhouse section of the estate where there are mannequins of gangsters. Scaramanga attacks Rodney with an aim of sharpening his own assassination skills. Eventually retrieves his golden gun and shoots the gangster. In London, a golden bullet etched with 007 is received by MI6. It is believed to have been sent by Scaramanga. He was trained by the KGB, but went independent in the 1950s. He charges 1 per hit, but because no one knows of his appearance outside of having a third nipple, and Bernard Lee relieves Bond Roger Moore of his current mission involving tracking an energy scientist named Gibson. At a hint from Moneypenny Lois Maxwell, she tells Bond that an Agent 002 was found dead in Beirut a few months ago. Suspected hit by Scaramanga, but not confirmed since they couldn't locate the bullet, Bond sets out unofficially to locate Scaramanga. First, by retrieving a spent golden bullet from a belly dancer who was with 002 at the time of the shooting in Beirut. He traces the bullet to a gunmaker in Macau from the Nicole content in the goal. Laser Marn Maitland, and forces him to reveal how he ships the bullets. Bond follows the shipment carried to Hong Kong by Andrea Anders Maud Adams, Scaramanga's mistress. At her Peninsula hotel room, he coerces her to expose information about Scaramanga, his appearance and his plans. She directs Bond to the Bottoms Up Club where Scaramanga snipes Gibson when he steps outside. And Scaramanga's dwarf assistant Knick-Knack Hervé Villegas steals a small device called the Solix Agitator, a revolutionary solar energy device, off his body. Bond, who had pulled out his pistol outside the club, is arrested by Hong Kong Police Lieutenant Hip Soon Taeko. But instead of going to the station, he is transported to the wreck of the RMS Queen Elizabeth in the harbor, where he meets M&Q Desmond Llewellyn, and is assigned to work with Hip to retrieve the Solix. Hip was at the club to make initial contact with Gibson, who wanted immunity in exchange for the Solix, a solar cell which he claims to be 95% efficient. Bond travels to Bangkok to meet high-fat Richard Liu, a wealthy Thai entrepreneur suspected of arranging Gibson's murder. Posing as Scaramanga by showing off his fake third nipple, Bond is invited to dinner. But his plan backfires because, unknown to him, Scaramanga himself is operating at Fat's estate. Bond is captured and placed inside Fat's martial arts academy, where the students duel to the death and then are instructed to kill him. Escaping with the aid of Hip and his nieces, Bond speeds away on a motorized sampan along the river, and reunites with his assistant, Mary Goodnight Britt Eklund. Scaramanga subsequently kills Fat with his golden gun and assumes control of his empire and the Solix. Anders reveals to Bond that she sent the bullet to London. She wants him to kill Scaramanga, and promises to give him the Solix. At a Muay Thai boxing event the next day, Bond finds Anders sitting and staring silently, dead from a bullet to the heart. Bond finds the Solix in Anders' bag. Scaramanga arrives and introduces himself to Bond, but Bond is able to smuggle the Solix to Hip, who passes it to Goodnight. When Goodnight follows Knick-Knack to place a homing device on Scaramanga's car, Scaramanga traps her in the car's boot. Bond discovers Scaramanga driving off and steals an AMC Hornet from a showroom to give chase, coincidentally with the holidaying J.W. Pepper Clifton James, the American sheriff Bond encountered in Live and Let Die sitting inside. The chase concludes when Scaramanga's AMC Matador hides in a building and then transforms into a plane that FLIs off. Tracking Goodnight's homing beacon, Bond FLIs a seaplane to Scaramanga's island in the Red Chinese waters. Scaramanga welcomes and shows Bond the solar power plant facility that he has taken over, the technology for which he intends to sell to the highest bidder. But while demonstrating the equipment, Scaramanga uses the solar-powered energy beam to destroy Bond's plane. After they dine together, Scaramanga proposes a pistol duel with Bond on the beach. With Knick-Knack officiating, the two men take 20 paces, but when Bond turns and fires, Scaramanga has vanished. Knick-Knack leads Bond into Scaramanga's manor and funhouse section. Bond eventually outwits and kills Scaramanga by posing as his mannequin. Goodnight kills Scaramanga's security chief Kra, but the latter's fall into a liquid helium vat causes the plant's temperature to spiral out of control. Bond retrieves the Solix unit just before the plant is destroyed, and they escape unharmed in Scaramanga's Chinese junk float. After Bond fends off a final attack by Knick-Knack, he romances Goodnight. Bond eventually wins, of course, but not without some dramatic twists and turns. From an action-packed boat chase to an explosive finale, this movie reminds us why Bond is still the ultimate spy hero. Is The Man with the Golden Gun the best Bond film? Maybe not, but it's certainly memorable. Between Roger Moore's charm, Christopher Lee's magnetic villain, and that unforgettable golden gun, it's a fun ride for any Bond fan. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments, what did you think of The Man with the Golden Gun? And what Bond movie should we review next? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to catch our latest videos.